This is the Chess, Not Checkers series starting officially right now, where we're basically going to expose. Why is this light on? Did I not close the back door? We're going to expose the scams that the duopoly play. That's the Democrats and the Republicans who essentially coordinate to some degree the scamming of the American people. So they use a lot of manipulation tactics and tricks to distract us and to trick us to stay in power, to gain more and more wealth while they keep us distracted. I mean, at the core of their tactics or strategy is the he went that way. Who's the one that's hurting this country? That way. Right? It's always like that's the core thing. Always. So one party distracts their base by saying, look over there, look at the other, right? And the other that they're pointing to, that other is telling their base, look over there, look at those guys, right? So the people who vote for the party over here, they spend their whole time looking over there, so they don't see what the people they vote for are doing, the scams and corruption. All they see is, oh, look at those right-wingers, look at the Republicans, racist. They're so racist, look at them, look what they're doing. They're fascist, oh, fascism. Meanwhile, Pelosi doing stuff, Biden doing stuff, right? They don't see that because they're busy over here, distracted MSNBC. Look at the Republican, they're going to destroy the country, right? What's happening? They playing, on the Republican Party, playing their base like suckers, just like the Democrats. They're using the same exact scam, right? So they spend the whole time, oh, the Democrats, they're socialists. Look at those guys over there. Look what they're doing. They're destroying this country and this and that, and the government handouts and da. Meanwhile, corrupt Republicans doing their thing, right? So that is at the core of their tactics in terms of how they scam the American people. But we're going to get into another, we're going to talk about the decoy. I'll be right back. I don't think that was closed properly. Light still on? I don't know. Whatever. Did I hit the lights? There you go. Look at that. I figured out how to turn off a light. Amazing. All right. So today's episode of the Chess Not Checkers, exposing the duopoly and their tricks. The goal of the series, by the way, is I want you guys to be better educated on the tricks that they use. They're not very clever. They're not very original. They've been using the same scam for decades. So it's about time that the American people, learn the tricks so they stop falling for them, right? I want, when they try these tricks, you'll remember I was watching that Debate Me channel video, and he talked about this. Look at what they're doing, right? So I want to learn you. I'm gonna learn you the tricks of the trade. Today's episode, the decoy. Bum, bum, bum. So let me give you the decoy from a military standpoint, right? My subscribers know I am ex-military, Air Force, hoorah! So we have this technology we've had for quite a while called decoys, which we use with the reception problem. Sorry about that, guys. It's horrible out here. There goes the coppers. So decoy is basically, to put it simply, so you're in a fighter jet, and you're being attacked. Whoever's attacking you tries to fire a missile at you to destroy you, your aircraft, and you inside, right? You can deploy what's called a decoy. You can deploy what's called a decoy. Okay, whatever. And all that does is it distracts the missile that was fired at you, giving it another. There's also something called flares, but flares are a little bit different. So basically, the idea is to get the missile to stop focusing on your aircraft and to focus on the decoy. So the decoy is something that is very, I'm oversimplifying, but let's imagine it's something. I don't mean it's literally. It's something very shiny. Look at all the pretty colors. Oh, look at it. Look at it. Like moths to a flame goes the missile, hopefully, if it works properly. And the missile goes, instead of going at your aircraft, which it's fired at, it ends up distracted and deflected to focus on the decoy, and then you get away, right? So it's kind of like a, I don't know, fakey, I guess the term is. So while you're over there distracted with that, I'm gonna get out of dodge, or I'm gonna get myself in a position to go and fire a missile back at you and take you out. So that's the fundamental of what a decoy is. Who just joined? Somebody just joined. Okay, I'm trying not to crash. It's nighttime. Whoever you are, I would shout you out if I could see your name, but I'm an old man, my vision is bad, and I'm driving, and it's nighttime, so we're just gonna say viewer number 1. So anyway, so that's what a decoy does. So decoy tactics are utilized a lot in politics. But before we talk about the utilization of the decoy, just like with the fighter aircraft, what is the threat, right? What is the missile? What is the political missile? Why they would want to deploy a decoy, right? The political threat is an inconvenient truth. So let's say Hunter Biden, right? Hunter Biden is the son of the president of the United States. And if he's involved in some deep state corruption, that's not a convenient fact or reality for the Democratic Party and those who align with them or vote for them, right? It's all about tribalism, right? So if you're left-leaning or you're center-left, whatever it is, the Democratic Party is the party for you. And even if you don't like the Democratic Party and you don't necessarily vote for them, because the Democratic Party panders to your ideology, you feel a sense of tribalism, like that's your tribe. Even though you may not acknowledge it or even realize it necessarily, something inside of you has this sort of attachment. So again, you could be the person who, oh, the Democrats suck, whatever, but ultimately when election day comes, if you vote, you're not voting Republican, you're voting Democrat, right? Even if you don't like them. And even if you don't vote for them and you don't necessarily like them, because they pander to your ideology, you feel a sense of like, this is your tribe. So if you see the enemy, the right and Republicans, talking about Hunter Biden this, Hunter Biden that, even if you don't like the Democrats, you have this natural reflex where you feel like, oh, well, what about Trump? You guys like Trump and Hunter Biden. Hunter Biden's not the president. Biden's the president. Like you feel a need to run interference, right? But let's get back to the decoy. So the Hunter Biden being an inconvenient truth, that is the political missile. Somebody's firing a Hunter Biden at the Democratic Party and that tribe. So they need to deploy a decoy, right? They need something to distract the folks on the left, center left, whatever it is, the liberals. They need something to distract them so they're not looking at Hunter Biden and learning anything, because obviously by association, guilty by association, that's the president's son, you know, you start opening up too much doors of corruption, then you start to wonder, okay, well, if that's the president's son, well, maybe, right? The Democratic Party doesn't want their base to be thinking like that or looking into that or paying attention to that. So they need to distract them with something else, right? So what is a good decoy? A good decoy is, when you talk about political decoys, you're talking about rhetoric, right? A good political decoy for the Democratic Party to deploy to protect this inconvenient truth, right, is to build a decoy with truth. The best way to lie is with the truth. The best propagandists like Tucker Carlson, Tim Pool, right? David Pakman. One of the ways, Ben Shapiro, one of the ways that they are so effective is that they're not amateurs. They're not going to get on here and just tell a bunch of lies. Now, there's certain people who don't like them or disagree with them that will present them as such, that they just lie, nothing but lies. But no, these guys are pros. Pros do not just go around saying a bunch of lies. Pros tell a lot of convenient truths, and they're quiet and conceal the inconvenient truths. They don't want to talk about certain things, right? There's certain things they don't want to talk about. You want to talk about other things, and there's other things that are convenient truths. This is actually the truth, and it supports my rhetoric, so I'll talk a lot about that, right? And by what I choose to talk about and not talk about, I'm going to manipulate my audience into believing a certain thing, a certain narrative, right? And I haven't really lied per se. It's a lie of omission and different things like that. So what the Democrats want to do is find something, a decoy that they construct out of a lot of truths, right? So because they're truths, it's very, very compelling. It's hard to necessarily, it can be difficult to challenge because it's like, hey, what did I say that's wrong? Tell me one thing that I said is wrong. This is what you hear a lot of propagandists use, that kind of line. So what is a good truth foundation to build a decoy to protect the Democrats? Well, you talk about the truth that the only reason the Republicans care about Hunter Biden is because of political theater. There's something to get the base riled up. It's something to Hunter Biden laptop, this and that, right? And it distracts their base from the corruption and what they're doing and what they're not doing, right? They need something to distract their base with some kind of red meat. These are facts, right? So you can use this as a good decoy, because let me tell you why decoys are very effective. Political decoys, why they're very effective. People, I don't know if it's survival instinct, but you know, we have a mechanism within us that protects us from things that are uncomfortable truths, right? Maybe your father has stage 4 cancer and that's uncomfortable. So you distract yourself with certain things, or you try to, almost like you lying to yourself. It's probably not really stage, like maybe the doctor wasn't, you play all kinds of games, right? So the reality is that, again, the Republicans are using Hunter Biden. It's a political thing. It's a distraction, a deflection. This is true, right? And because of survival instincts, right? People on the left, liberals in particular, don't want to accept the reality of, corruption on their side, right? You're voting for, you supported Biden, and look at what his son is doing, and maybe he's doing whatever. Like, they don't want to hear about that, right? That this is something that is threatening. It's an uncomfortable truth, right? So because of that, that's what makes decoys very effective, because what you do is you present something that is very attractive, that's an alternative to this uncomfortable reality, right? So uncomfortable reality, Hunter Biden, and maybe Biden himself involved in some real serious corruption. You guys are busy talking about Trump, but what about Biden and his son? That's uncomfortable, right? So if I can present an alternative, right? Something that is more like a red meat, something that is something that's better, be preferable, a preferable narrative, the liberals will latch onto it and won't let go, right? So you start talking, oh, it's just political, and then look at Trump was doing all this stuff and they didn't even care, and now all of a sudden they care about Hunter Biden. Oh, this is just political theater. They're just using this to get their base all riled up and blah 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 blah, right? Now it's like, okay, I can focus on this uncomfortable truth that there's this corruption on my side, right? All this focus on Trump, and it's like, hey, look at the people you vote, look at what they're doing. I can focus on that, which I don't like. I don't like that. Or Look at this shiny object over here. It's partisanship, and the Republicans are just using it to rile up their base. I'm never. Oh, I like this. Yes, that's right. That's right. The Republicans are using this to whatever. Right. That's right. They don't care. And look at all the stuff that Trump is doing. And then someone on the right comes and says, "Hey, but wait a minute. Wait a minute. What does Trump have to do with Biden doing blah blah blah? This is the president's son. Yeah, but Trump this that. Right. So if the Democrats drop this decoy, this oh it's just partisanship, oh it's they're just trying to deflect and distract from whatever, right? It's based on a lot of truth, right? So it's easily digestible and it's hard to challenge, and it's kind of like you're right, that is true. And you can prove it. You can show. Listen, when Trump did this, they didn't care. So they don't really care about this stuff. It's all about political games and whatever, right? And then you're like, yes, that's what it is, right? So now you're not looking at Hunter Biden. You're not looking at what he's doing, right? All you're focusing on is, oh, it's just the Republicans, whatever, right? Someone on the right comes and challenges you. You repeat what the Democrats are saying, right? Democrats and the influencers that promote them are talking about, oh, it's partisanship or whatever. So when somebody from the right comes to you and says Hunter Biden, you're like, Hunter Biden, what about Trump? Da-da-da. MSNBC rhetoric, Nancy Pelosi rhetoric, same stuff that you see coming from, all these different Democrats. Here you are as a liberal repeating the same talking points given to you by the Democratic Party and their assets in the media. And what is the purpose of this? Hunter Biden is shielded and protected from accountability because the people on the left, the people who vote Democrat, rather, Democratic voters, instead of looking at what Hunter Biden is doing, they fall for this decoy, and now their attention off of Hunter Biden and what he's doing. Now you're focused on, oh, the right wing is just this, and right wing media, and Trump did this, and da da da. That is very powerful decoy. And even if, what I've noticed is it's so effective that even if you sit down and you talk to someone and you say, listen, this is a trick, they're using it to distract you, right? The Democrats don't want you looking at Hunter Biden, right? This is what this is, and you explain and break it down. The response you'll get, this is standard response for someone who has fallen for the decoy. The standard response will be, okay, well, that's politics. But don't you care about Hunter? Would you care? Wait. I lost my chain of thought there. So this will be someone who's on a liberal who someone on the right points out how they've been tricked. This is just the Democrats are distracting you. They could listen to you and acknowledge that, right? But then they will still say, they will still go back to, oh, the Democrats, this and that, and what about Trump, and Trump did this, and blah, 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 blah. It is a much more convenient narrative. And they will latch onto it and they won't let go. So even if you open their eyes and say, hey, this is a distraction, you've fallen for a decoy, they'll be like, but right? It's very, very effective. So now that I'm not driving, I can see who is in the chat. Carolyn Lowe is in the house. Good to see you. I am way behind. Every 4 years is some hot point, either race, gender, social topic, right? When they get their money, they couldn't. Exactly. You know what's up? Both sides are capable of corruption. Politicians became corrupt when they gave themselves paychecks. Exactly. I say what I see, what I live. And we see Gardner Josh in the house. They want us to focus on them, so we don't focus on the self-sufficient. They want us dependent. So another decoy, which is being utilized right now very effectively, and I have been unable to counteract the. I mean, this is a very effective tactic, and I have not seen anyone that is able to look away. Like, once they get you into this like decoy and this red meat, I've never seen anybody come back from the edge and be like, wait a minute, hold on, right? And I don't see that. Whenever you challenge people who are caught up in this, they revert back to whatever the rhetoric is, whatever whatever the decoys, they revert back to it. They keep going back to that. So right now, what's happening is with the Trump thing, right? Inconvenient truth. What happened with these classified documents, right? So anytime, so obviously, like I said, what's the political decoy? You need something to distract your base with, right? Each political party has these decoys, which it's like something's bad over here. I don't want you to focus on this, so I'm gonna focus your attention on something else on the other side, and it's based. The good decoys are based in a lot of truth, right? So Trump with these top secret documents refuses to give them back, right? They get the warrant for these documents. They find out that he actually did have them, so the warrant was valid. This is an inconvenient narrative. It's an inconvenient truth to the Republican Party. This is their leader, right? They need to use a decoy so that their base is not focused on what corruption their leader is doing, right? So just like the Democrats need to shield Hunter Biden and therefore Joe Biden, the Republican Party needs to shield their leader from being held accountable and from looking bad, right? So a good decoy, once again, is based in a lot of truth. So what's the truth? The FBI can't be trusted. That is true. What's another truth? The Justice Department is justice in its country is unfairly given out, right? I end up in handcuffs and assaulted by a police officer for $50 parking summons. Meanwhile, billionaires and millionaires can do massive financial crimes and other scams and schemes and suffer basically no consequences whatsoever. But I get assaulted for a $50 parking ticket, right? Justice is supposed to be blind, but in this country it's not blind, right? The federal government has been used to target, certain groups of people that are, against whatever the establishment wants, whether it's been racial, whether it's been poor people, or any particular group that they don't particularly like. We've seen for decades that the Department of Justice and the FBI and others have been weaponized in such a way, right? These are all truths, right? And they make a very, very effective wrapping of a decoy to use to basically distract Republican voters from focusing on Trump and what he did in his corruption, right? And just like with the Democrats and liberals with the Hunter Biden stuff, it is extremely difficult for folks on the right to look away, right? This shiny object of the FBI unfailing, the Department of Justice, and this is somehow the partisan and the Democrats, whatever, right? A lot of truth in those things, right? But it's so compelling that even when discussing this topic with someone who is aware of these things, like I'm well aware of the like Democrats' willingness to rig elections, like they did with the third party, trying to get third party people off the ballot, utilizing the media to manipulate the minds of the people, to basically manipulate the votes in that way, right? And there's a lot of conspiracy theories about all this ballot swapping, and that's not how they do it. They do it with the media and manipulation and keeping people like they did with the Green Party, kicking people off the ballot and stuff like that. That's how they do it. But this decoy is so seductive that you will talk to someone like me who's well aware, deeply aware of how scandalous the Democrats are, how manipulative they are, the fact that they would potentially play games and try to manipulate things to, like, make Trump can't win or whatever, all kinds of stuff. Like, even though I'm well aware of this, someone would talk to me knowing that I'm well aware of this. I'm well aware you can't trust the FBI. FBI is not our friend, right? Well aware of these things. But it's so compelling, this decoy, that even in talking to someone like me, you would be tempted to try to explain to me the things that I clearly have demonstrated I'm already aware of. But the FBI this, right? But the Democrats, they always, like, I know these things, right? This is how things have been. Both parties have been very, very corrupt. This is what they do. This is what I talk about on my channel. I'm well aware of that, right? So I'm not the one who's being distracted by anything like, oh, they got me all, they wanted to focus on Trump because Trump is whatever. No, I am looking at reality, looking at the crimes that Trump has committed, what he has done, the corruption. January 6th. I looked at those hearings and they were asking him questions, and the weird answers and the dancing around and just real shady type. Like, I'm well aware of that. I don't trust the FBI, right? He talked to me when I was 21, 22, when I was infatuated with the feds, right? I was an X-Files fan, and I was all into into that stuff. But I grew up that a long time ago. I know what the FBI is all about, right? But right now, all you need to effectively protect Trump from the Republican voters is to just keep talking about the FBI and this is unfair, and how come this other person didn't get charged, and justice should be fair for, like, these are things that are happening every single day for decades, right? So it's not like something novel is happening, like, oh my goodness, this is unprecedented. It's not unprecedented. Our justice system being unfair and inconsistent is not novel, right? So if that is really the concern, then where were you a month ago, 2 months ago, 3 months ago, last year, the year before that? This has always been a thing. Now, that protective nature, like, this is psychology, that protective nature, like that want, like the defense mechanism, you'd want to listen to what I just said and you say, okay, but are you okay with this? You don't care about doing something about it? No, I do care. But the point is, the Republicans don't. They're only talking about this to use as a political decoy to deflect and distract their voters from holding Trump accountable and realizing what Trump is doing, right? So don't look at me. Oh, I'm not the one with power. I'm not the one in government. The Republicans are the ones in government. They're the ones who have the ability to legislate. They have the ability to do things to make the Justice Department fair. But as you can see, they're not looking to do any of that because they don't care about that. So I would want for people who are Republican voters to step back and say, wait a minute. Why is it that the Republican Party wants me to focus on this thing that they themselves don't care about? If they cared about the Justice Department being unfair, they would have been pushing for legislation. This has been a battle that they've been fighting, right? But instead, they've been fighting about CRT, right? CRT and whatever gay stuff, whatever. That's what they're making the noise about. They haven't been fighting about the Justice Department being fair with everyone. So since they haven't been fighting for that, that means they don't care. So they don't really care about this. Then why they keep talking about this now? Like, step back for a moment. What are they trying to accomplish by constantly talking about the Justice Department and the FBI and they've been weaponized? Remember the challenge that the Republican Party has right now. Their leader looks very bad right now. It's an inconvenient narrative for their base to be looking at what's being found out about Trump and what Trump did. They need a political decoy. They need something for you to latch on to that's more convenient. Focus on the fact that the leader of, essentially your tribe, like, it's very tribal here, right? So if you're on the right, the leader of the tribe is Trump. He's at the top of the political party. He is the one that has all the energy, has the most support. If the guy at the top on that tribe is being attacked, then the Republican Party needs to distract and deflect the base with something else, right? So that means that the whole focus on the supposed unfairness and the FBI this and whatever is meant to trick Republican voters into thinking about and talking about that. So look over there, not at what Trump is doing. Same trick the Democrats are doing. Don't look at Hunter Biden, right? Look at those rascally Republicans and how corrupt they are, and they're just doing this because it's political theater and this and that and whatever. Don't look at liberals. Don't look at Hunter Biden. Look at the Republicans, right? And again, it's true. It is political games. They are trying to deflect, right? That is true. So when the liberals or liberal media says, oh, the Republicans, they don't care about Hunter Biden, they're telling the truth. Very compelling, very effective decoy, right? Whenever you want to protect Trump from the classified documents, talk about impartial nature or how partisan the FBI is or whatever, or Democrats might be, whatever. It will be extremely difficult to get a liberal to let go of the focus on that the Republicans are being playing political games by focusing on Hunter Biden. Like, they don't really care, right? It's very hard for liberals to let go of that. No matter what you explain to them and break it down, like, hey, the Democrats are tricking you. What do you mean, tricking us? You're the one who voted for Trump, right? Republican voters, same thing. Try to talk to a Republican voter about how they're being tricked right now, and that just think logically, right? Why would the Republican Party be focused now on impartial FBI and all this stuff they're talking about? Why would they be talking about this if they don't care about it? Which we know they don't care, because they haven't been pushing for legislation to address this issue, which has been going on for decades, right? Why are they pretending like this is unprecedented? Our justice system being inconsistent, going after this person and then letting the other one slide, that's status quo, right? So why are they pretending like this is some crazy thing? Like, oh my goodness, the country is now really banana republic, right? Obviously, they're just pretending, right? They're putting on a show. Politicians in this country are overwhelmingly liars and frauds, right? But they lie to the people who vote for them. So when you see the Republicans going on and carrying on and making all this fuss, know that they're not putting on a show for the liberals or the left, right? Those people are irrelevant. When you see them putting on a show and making all this noise or whatever, that is on behalf of their base. They are trying to get their base to focus on a particular thing and away from something else. When you see the Democrats getting all crazy, talking about whatever, oh, women's rights, this and that, women's rights and the bodies, whatever, right? But you don't see them actually never taking any action to actually do something about it. They didn't codify Roe versus Wade. What are they actually doing about it? Nothing. So why are they spending a lot of time acting as if they care about women's rights and whatever? Clearly, because it's a distraction and deflection from something else. They don't want their base to look at something else, their failures or whatever it is. They want them to focus on this idea of, oh, women's rights. So that completes episode 1 of the Chess Not Checkers series, breaking down the scams and schemes of the duopoly, the Republicans and the Democrats. The goal being here, I want you guys to become aware of how they manipulate you. You can stop falling for the tricks and the games. I don't want to tell you what to think. I don't want to try to get you onto a particular tribe and push a certain ideology on you. I want you to decide for yourself, what you think is right, what you think is best for this country, for yourself, for your family. But I just want to make sure that you're making those decisions based on your own thoughts and analysis. I don't want you to come to conclusions based on what you're being manipulated into thinking or focusing on, right? So I want you to recognize the tricks and scams. So if you're a Democratic voter and you see the Democrats are making a lot of noise about something, I want you to immediately be skeptical and like, wait a minute. So I'm a Democratic voter. I vote for Democrats, and the Democrats right now are making a big fuss about this one thing. What are they not talking about? Is there something else that they're doing that they don't want me to know about? Because I know the Democratic Party, even though I vote for them because I'm more afraid of the Republicans, I know that they are not really for the people, right? They have the rhetoric, but they're not really for the people. So if they're focused on this particular thing and they're talking about it, they clearly are trying to make me focus on this. I gotta sit and think, what else is going on that they don't want me to look at, right? Whatever your ideology is, we have to get into a perspective that we understand that the political party that panders to your ideology spends a lot of time manipulating you. If you vote for Democrats, the Democrats spend a lot of time manipulating you into certain rhetoric. They want to make you focus on certain things. So if you're a Democrat voter, you need to be very, very skeptical of whatever the Democrats are talking about, because all the performative stuff and all the getting on, they're not doing it for the right. They're doing it for you, right? So you have to be able to see through it, and again, chess not checkers, right? So why are the Democrats putting their pieces here? Are they trying to do a checkmate? Wait, are you trying to, you put this here, you could move that piece here and then that piece, and then, oh wait, oh wow, you're trying to get my queen. I want liberals to start thinking like that. I want conservatives to do the same thing. You know, just like on the left with the Democratic Party, the Republican Party is not for the people. They're for themselves. They're for their own wealth and power. So if you see the Republican Party talking about and focusing on a certain thing, I want you guys to get to a point where automatically, you know, this is how they trick you. This is how they manipulate you. The big fuss and rhetoric that the Republican does, just like the Democrats do, is for the benefit of manipulating their base. So if the Republicans are making a lot of noise about something, that means that they want you to focus on that thing, right? Generally speaking, you don't want to be focused on and talking about the things that the party that panders to your ideology is focused on. If you're conservative, you vote for Republicans, and Republicans keep talking about a certain thing, you need to step back and spend some time and think about what else is happening that they're trying to distract you from. If you vote for Democrat and you see them talking about something, step back and think to yourself, okay, so they want to talk about how the right is racist or they this or whatever and Trump that, but wait a minute. What is it that they don't want me to look at? What is it that they don't want me to focus on? Right? I want you guys to unplug, and if you unplug, you will no longer find yourself consistently aligned with the rhetoric of the establishment parties, right? If you're a liberal, always talking the same stuff the Democrats talking about, you've been scammed. If you're conservative and the stuff that you're always talking about and focused on is the same stuff that the Republican Party is always talking about, you've been scammed, right? Don't fall for it. This is Democratic Party. I almost said I'm tired. It's been a long day. It's been a long day. After yesterday's craziness, and then today we had a major issue happen. So I'm exhausted. Just went to the Home Depot in the middle of the night to get some hand truck because I don't know. I got to pick up a couch tomorrow by 4, and I don't have anyone to help me. So I don't know how I don't know. I got to figure out how that's gonna work. But I know I'm gonna be moving heavy objects, so hand truck helps with that. But I can't take that up the stairs by myself. So I got to figure that out. But anyway, and my father's coming tomorrow. It's gonna be with me for a while. So a lot's going on. I'm exhausted. I'm tired. But this is not the Democrat Me channel. This is the Debate Me channel. Debate Me in the comment section below. Click on the like button, subscribe, smash that bell. Be well. Let's get the likes up. God damn. 3 viewers and 1 like. Simple machines, friend. Use gravity and straps. Gravity and straps. But I gotta go up the stairs though. How am I gonna do that? Simple, use gravity and straps. Oh, I was looking at that online, but I don't know, where can I get that? There's some kind of like lifting straps or something. It's just a love seat, so it's not a full couch. So that kind of helps. But yeah, my back is suspect. I haven't had any problem in a while, but my back is not to be played with. So I don't know. And then my boss is acting funny because that disaster the other day with that stalker guy. Somehow my boss was, yeah, he wasn't really understanding at all. That was really messed up, but it is what it is. So yeah, anyway, let me get inside and get some rest. Long day. Walk them up via sheet. Walk them up. Man, I can't even. I need to get glasses, guys. Walk them up via sheet and straps. Wow. Yeah, moving does suck. I do facts, and I'm gonna have to. I do facts and data, not rhetoric. I'm gonna have to read this when I get inside because I can't. I can barely see. This is bad. Food, children, and trafficking are the topics. Food, children, and trafficking. Andrew's in the house. My litmus test for politicians' loyalty to the people is their willingness to defend the people's rights to keep and bear arms. Wow. Andrew, that is yet another it's another form of decoy. I can be a corrupt politician with no plans of doing anything for the American people. Oh my goodness, what is up with the Zoom? Like, holy crap, that was scary even for me. I can be a corrupt politician with no plans of doing much of anything for the American people. And all I gotta do is talk about Second Amendment and protect our guns, and then fairmonger about that they're coming to take our guns. Now, whether they're coming to take your guns or not is not the point. The point is that I can easily manipulate a lot of people to vote for me just based on me presenting myself as I'm pro guns, whatever. And that's what they literally do. Like they literally, and it's like, it's embarrassing, man, that how dumb the Republicans think that their base is. Like, look at all these videos, these campaign ads, and they literally get a gun and they pose with a gun and like, oh yeah, this and that, and this is America and we're free, and they're not taking the guns, whatever. You know what I mean? Like, look at Dr. Oz. Dr. Oz, like, trying to pretend he's some hunter now. Probably rented the gun. Right? Probably rented the gun. This is how stupid the Republicans think that their base is. They think that you guys are dumb enough to just vote based on guns, right? That they think you don't care. Oh, this guy's not gonna do anything for me. You know, he's just gonna be there making money and doing corruption and whatever. You know, they think that you're not even gonna be worried about that as long as you talk the right gun and Second Amendment and this and that and freedom and they're not taking our gun. You know, if I'm governor, then I'm gonna make sure that the Democrats never take any of our guns away because this is America and we're free. Pow, 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 pow. Guns, God. If I were a conservative, I would be so insulted by the entire Republican Party. I mean, they're not even creative, right? Like it's just like literally like, let me do a campaign ad holding a gun because this shiny object. I feel like this shiny object will get people to ignore all the other stuff I'm doing and what I'm not gonna do, and just focus on freedom and Second Amendment and whatever. I say, flip them the bird. Tell them I want more from you than a bunch of Second Amendment rhetoric. I want to know that you're not some corrupt politician and you're going to actually work for the American people and you actually get stuff done, right? And you're not just in it for power and money, right? Prove that to me, right? Put down the goddamn gun and stop putting all these damn flags in your video. Like, I don't care about your flags and all your this is America. I want to know what the hell you gonna do beyond the red meat stuff, right? That's all I got, guys. Have a good night. Thanks for joining. Appreciate the likes. Pandering at its best, right? 100%. All right, guys. This car just dings and dings and dings and dings. Like there's a lot of dinging. Anyway, I'm returning it tomorrow, so it's a great car. It's very fast. It's a Volkswagen Touareg. I don't know what this is, but it's too much dinging. Look how greasy my face is. God damn.